In this video, I'm gonna give you some tips to have a strong start in Zenless Zone 0 and show you some key mistakes you want to avoid, and on top of that, I'll share some advanced and bonus tips to help you progress smoothly in the game without falling for some common traps. Now, I have played ZZZ in all of closed betas, and I've been grinding a ton on the official global server, so in this video, I will be sharing all of my knowledge with you. Now, starting things off, one of the best ways to boost your character's damage is by equipping a W engine, which is the equivalent of a weapon. You can obtain them mostly from the gacha system and sometimes from a mission, but there's also a W engine store. Here, you can exchange W engine chips for a B rank or A rank W engine, and I'm gonna be honest with you. The B ranks are simply a scam because these chips are very hard to come by. You can either obtain them by recycling A rank W engines, basically destroying them for a single chip and some XP, or by doing the weekly boss hunts, which give very little of these chips. And because you need 6 of these chips to craft any of the A rank W engines, as well as some class materials, it's better to just save them to craft yourself the A rank W engine whenever possible, since I've already calculated and I can tell you that A ranks are literally 25% better than B ranks when it comes to the main stat and substat. Still, there are a couple of great B rank engines, mainly for support roles, but I still recommend to not craft them and obtain it from the gacha instead, which shouldn't be too hard since we get spammed with B rank engines constantly. Okay, moving over to some extra resources you can gain quickly. The game doesn't really emphasize this, but you can go and do some VR training missions, which you can access from the menu here or in the mission room from this VR device. And at this corner here, you can see a bunch of rewards you can gain, up to 20 times, which correlates to all of these training exercises from Agent Academy. Basically, just do all of them for some nice rewards, and you'll also learn all the basic mechanics and character kits in the process. Just keep in mind, these character cooperation exercises only unlock if you have the corresponding character. Now, the biggest roadblock in this game is going to be the Intronaut level, or simply known as account level. A lot of the extra activities are gated behind how high is your account level, so you definitely want to grab all of these side quests and missions in this game, and also clear as much story as possible because every one of these missions will give Intronaut experience points. And of course, you can also gain more experience by completing the primer and daily errands tab. But the reason you want to gain experience fast is because the better your Intronaut level is, the better rewards are going to be when spending the stamina called battery charge. But also, you will unlock new game modes such as hunting the weekly bosses or the ability to craft disk drives, which are like artifacts. And keep in mind, because there's a daytime mode, make sure to check the missions tab and explore the maps in each time slot, because you can uncover extra content by doing this. And you can progress the day by just clicking the rest button here, or by simply completing missions in the Hollow Deep Dive system, or by doing the tasks in the city. Then, the next thing I want to quickly mention are secrets. There's a ton of them. Make sure to explore every nook and cranny of each map area. A lot of these secrets can be turned into Mew Mew for extra rewards, but one thing I do want to mention is that even though Explore and Story missions just keep track of your observation data, so like if you got all 3 of them, there are secrets that are not tracked, except sometimes by achievements. For example, in this mission, I was able to uncover extra loot by breaking the brick wall and finding it. Same goes for rally commissions. These are big stages you can explore in combat commissions, and often you can find extra loot by just fully exploring the map. But let's talk about the stamina system, or as it's called, battery charge. My first and foremost recommendation would be to farm the materials from this combat simulation tab, and aim to level up everything for at least 6 characters, since that's how many you will need to start challenging the endgame mode Shiyu defense. Later on, or maybe even now as you're watching this video, you will unlock the other 2 places where you can spend the stamina, Routine Cleanup and Expert Challenge. In Routine Cleanup, you can farm for disk drives. If you play Genshin or HSR, these are the equivalent of artifacts or relics. I do not recommend dumping stamina in here until you first level up your characters and their abilities, and then afterwards, I would also instead go for the Expert Challenge because this place is a bit unique compared to other Hoyo games. Because in here, you can fight bosses for 40 battery charge and then obtain 2 important rewards. First is called Higher Dimensional Data. There's like 5 variations for each boss you fight, and you use these materials to level up your unit's core skills. I cannot stress enough how important these core skills are, because not only do they improve their passive or core abilities, but also increase their stats such as critical rate, attack, impact, and so on. Now, I would say farm these bosses until you can max out the core skill of the 6 characters you want to invest into. And by maxing out, I mean raise as much as your current account level allows it. Then you will notice these audio booster items that the bosses drop. Well, you can actually go to the Bardic Needle here and exchange them for the disc drives of your choice. Granted, they will be randomized, but you can still pick a set bonus to focus on. And later on, better rarities of these audio boosters will drop, which can be exchanged for S rarity disc drives. Still, keep in mind the best place to farm disc drives is still going to be the routine cleanup, but early in the game, especially when S rarity discs don't even drop until you level up your account, it's far better to just first focus spending the stamina on raising all your character's skills and level. But of course, if you have that one task in your primer to do a routine cleanup for disc drives, do it once at least. Oh, and another thing I quickly want to mention that's a very common trick in gacha games: if you're about to increase your Inter-Not rank, which you can track here, avoid spending battery charges or the ether batteries you have, because with each rank up, the rewards become better, and this way, you can spend the battery charges more efficiently. For example, I just unlocked the weekly bosses, which I can do only 3 times per week, so I'm gonna wait and see if I can hit level 30 on my account and increase my rank, so then I can obtain better rewards this week. Oh, and if you're wondering, weekly bosses reset each Monday. But yeah, as I said before, first focus on completing all side quests and missions which reward Inter-Not experience to get better rewards after ranking up your account level, although obviously if you have very little time to spend on the game, then just make sure to use up all battery charges before logging out. Now, the next big and cute thing I want to talk about are the Bangboos. You will be able to obtain a lot of them by just summoning on their exclusive banner, which will require a currency called Boopons. There are several ways you can obtain Boopons, like doing events, but the biggest one is by playing Hollow Zero mode. While in the Hollow Zero's menu, click here at the bottom to access 2 tabs. Your license level, which grows for each time you complete this game mode up to a certain amount of points capped weekly, as you can see here. Although keep in mind, this cap does increase with your account level rank ups, so it's possible to gain more points if you already maxed out but just unlocked a rank up for your account. And then there's bounty commissions. Just make sure to do all of them, cause as you can see here, they give Boopons too. Now, if you go outside the tent and talk to this guy over here, Casper, he has 2 store pages. One for spending Z merits, which you can obtain from Hollow Zero, and the other one is Association Supplies, where you spend investigation merits, which you can gain from Shiyu Defense Endgame mode and by doing the weekly bosses. Because both these stores refresh every month, I first recommend prioritizing the Boopons, which you can obtain a total of 10, but then later on, focus on getting these master tapes for extra pulls and a tuning calibrator here, which is like a self-modeling resin from Honkai Star Rail, which allows you to select the main stat for the specific disk drive you want to craft. And of course, there's these Hi-Fi Master copies, which can be used to craft more S-rank disk drives. And then finally, regarding the Bangboo store, you can spend the currency you obtain from just summoning Bangboos here. And my recommendation right now would be to save up and purchase this Marcel modified part, because I'm like 80% sure this item can ascend the star level of any rarity Bangboo, including S ranks. So it's a very useful item when you know which Bangboos you further want to keep investing into. Right now, it's not very clear which Bangboos are best, and I might be wrong about this item's purpose because I am basing my knowledge about it from past closed beta tests. But again, it doesn't hurt to just save up the Bangboo currency anyway, since the Bangboos aren't even the most crucial damage dealers for the team. Now, this next tip is more or less for people who care about clearing the Shiyu Defense Endgame mode. If you have seen my tier list video, I only briefly mentioned viable team comps, and I will be making a dedicated teams guide in the future, but for now, it's very clear that stun roll characters are super valuable. I know there's a lot of mixed reactions about the game's difficulty, but it really becomes apparent when you start doing Shiyu Defense mode, which, by the way, does offer really nice rewards. So, stun roll, why does it matter? Well, there are only 3 units who are stunners: Anbi, Von Lycan, and Kolita. I am using Anbi myself right now, and she can help quickly fill up enemies' daze bar, and by stunning them, you can start a chain combo, which not only deals a lot of damage to enemies from each of these chains, but often, a lot of buffs and abilities are tied to these chain attacks. So, the sooner you can stun the enemy, the more damage you can unload by utilizing the stun roll characters. And also, in terms of investing resources in characters, for example, there's currently 3 physical attack role units, Korn, Billy, and Nekomata. Unless you're planning to play 2 of them in separate teams for a Shiyu defense, because you do need 2 teams total, I would only recommend investing in roles that complement each other, because so far, I don't believe meta-wise, double attacker's team is as good as something like attack, stun, and either anomaly or support. Again, I wouldn't stress too much about this right now, since this is a beginner's guide video, and I'm only showing you this as someone who is already working towards clearing Shiyu defense. And what are some common strategies to look out for? In fact, I would say before even considering team builds, one technique worth learning would be to start practicing swap cancels. It's really nothing special, but basically, you want to tap the swap button to next teammate for any animation that takes a bit too long to finish. For example, you can see me swap canceling Anton's special, doing the same for Ambi's EX special, and then also swap canceling after Rena's attacks. All of this adds up small fractions of time you can gain for yourself, because in Shiyu defense, it is basically a time trial mode. The more time left remaining, the better the score and rewards afterwards. Finally, as my last tip, don't chase the meta units and don't be intimidated by the FOMO, fear of missing out. Play the game at your own pace, make sure to first and foremost enjoy the gameplay, and don't stress too much about having the best team or maxing out your account's rank. As most gacha gamers will tell you, this is not a race, but a marathon. Take your time and play at your own pace. And honestly, the meta is like super underdeveloped right now. The community and theory crafters are still figuring out a lot of things out, so just keep this in mind and have fun with ZZZ. Anyway, hope you found this video useful, and as always, you can help support my channel by clicking the like button on this video, and don't forget to subscribe to me for more ZZZ content. Thanks, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.